A couple of weeks ago, I wanted to replay a small part of my childhood, Gran Turismo 4. While my PlayStation 2 is no longer in working order, I found some online resources and was able to figure out how to play this game on my modern PC. I was browsing through GT mode and was looking at all the cars I used to use back in the day. The Ford GT, the Pagani Zonda S, and the Audi R8 race car. I then thought to myself, am I really going to play through the game again buying and using the same cars? The answer to that question was no. I had recently thought of a challenge run through the game that would force me to use cars that I would never use, or at least use cars in races where I normally wouldn't. If you are unfamiliar with these old Gran Turismo games, they start out slow. You can't really do anything until you earn some licenses, so I spend the first few hours grinding them out so I can have as much uninterrupted fun later on. After I earn each of the 5 licenses, I also earn a car with which I can start the game with. Unfortunately, the worst one, my Volkswagen Lupo, is too good to start my challenge run with. Thankfully, there is a way to earn more cash and some prize cars without actually participating in any of the standard races. Driving missions. There are 34 missions in total, and they can be tackled in any order you want, so long as you have earned the required licenses. The missions are split into 4 groups with a total of 5 prize cars to win. At the completion of each mission, you will also earn a small cash prize. Missions 1 through 10 are extremely simple and easier than most of the license tests. You just have to get from last place to first place over a short section of track, usually less than 3 corners, and overtaking only a single car. Missions 11 through 20 are a lot more challenging. You are given 3 laps to get from last position into first while your opposition has a substantial lead. The car you are given has at least one small advantage over your competition, whether it be pure power or handling and braking for corners. You do need good knowledge of the circuit's corners, braking zones, and the best spots to overtake to minimize time loss to come out victorious in these challenges. Missions 21 to 24 teach you about slipstreaming, the act of driving directly behind the car in front of you to reduce air resistance. The effect is greatly exaggerated compared to real-life racing, but this is a game after all. You race on an oval track, so there really isn't any room to make mistakes, but you still need to make sure you are slipstreaming at basically every possible opportunity to take the checkered flag. Missions 25 to 34 are all known as the one-lap magic challenges. The idea is really neat. You have a super powerful car, much faster than your competitors. They get a massive head start, and you chase them all down, taking the lead right before the finish line to secure the win. The execution, however, is flawed. Every time you start one of these challenges, you have to painstakingly rewatch the slow-as-ass lead car pull away while you agonizingly wait at the start line. The handicap given can also vary greatly, from 18 seconds on mission 31 up to the 90 seconds on mission 26. These missions were designed so that snatching a win from the jaws of defeat is only possible if you perform a near-perfect lap. You must be brave in your braking and audacious in your overtaking. You must know every corner of the track, from the optimal line to take to the moment you need to get back on the throttle. You must trust the capabilities of your car and push it all the way to its limit. Only then will you be triumphant in these challenges. But there is one mission that stands out from the rest. One mission that is seemingly designed to torture you. One mission intended to separate those who are great drivers from those obsessed with perfection. This is Mission 34. Where do I even begin? How about the course itself? Based on a real track built in 1920s Germany, the Nurburgring Nordschleife is by far the most complicated track featured in Gran Turismo 4. According to Wikipedia, This beast of a circuit has 154 corners, with a track width that is barely wide enough to fit 2 cars side by side. The developers at Polyphony Digital really went all the way though, because they even included all the tiny undulations and bumps, or at least as many as they could for PlayStation 2 hardware, on this near 13-mile circuit. The car you are given is a Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, a car with over 600 horsepower and weighing nearly 4,000 pounds. The one found in Mission 34 is a little different than the one in the German showroom, possibly having slightly different suspension settings, but for the most part, the car is completely stock. No racing brakes, no crisp gear shifts, and ordinary sports tyres. In short, this car can reach over 200 miles per hour, doesn't have great handling, and doesn't want to slow down when you apply the brakes. The course and car make Mission 34 a fierce challenge. Constant acceleration and deceleration needed to negotiate the 154 corners means you have plenty of opportunities to make small errors and inaccuracies. The bumpiness of the road also makes some corners very difficult to get consistent at. Take a look at these 2 examples. On the left, I don't get a great bounce as I come over the crest and I have to brake hard, taking my minimum speed to 173 km per hour, and I'm barely able to stay on the track as I almost touch the outside of the corner. On the right, I get a much better bounce and am able to get a nice whip turn for my SLR, only slowing down to 190 km per hour while also taking a tighter line. The difference of just 17 km per hour is just one thing that straddles the line between failure and success. The high-speed section up to Arenberg Corner magnifies this small difference, with the run on the right pulling out a 1-second advantage. Any decent mistake or series of small mistakes will make this challenge completely impossible, and when you restart, you are greeted with the countdown timer, which gives the lead car a 123-second head start on the NTSC version. Yup, you have to wait over 2 minutes just to retry this challenge again. Which begs the question, why didn't the developers have the last 10 missions with the race already underway and have a normal start time? What were they thinking? While Mission 34 is certainly not impossible, the complex nature of the Nordschleife, the difficulty of driving the SLR, and the 2-minute wait time for each attempt has certainly prevented most people from completing the mission and thus getting 100% in the game. It has caused broken controllers, dreams to be crushed, and even memes about its notoriety. If I could give one tip about beating this mission, it would be, remember how you played your first racing game? What I mean by this is, don't you remember how to wall ride? The act of wall riding is considered a cheap and dirty tactic amongst racing game enthusiasts, taking advantage of the imperfect physics and using the outer wall barrier to guide your car around the corner. In my attempts, I found 3 corners where I believe the wall ride would save me some time. The first is in the top left of the track, the second is a high speed one on the back end of the circuit, and the third is here on the first carousel. If done well, these can shave off 3 to 4 seconds off of your lap time. Even with hours and hours of practice, wall riding sometimes just isn't enough of a juvenile tactic to win. We need something else. The corner cut. The art of corner cutting is seen in many racing games, from Mario Kart to Forza Motorsport. Another attribute of the inexperienced driver, corner cutting is an additional trick that we can use to save time on the Nordschleife. I perform a double cut here on this early S-bend, a second one here over the hill avoiding a 90-degree bend, and a third one over a similar hill just after the first carousel. With these, another 3 to 4 seconds can be shaved off of your lap time. But there is still one more forbidden tactic that must be talked about. One more that will complete the unholy trinity of dirty racing, and the only one the developers had prepared for. The ram. The ram might be the dirtiest of all tactics used to gain the lead on your opponents. It is the essence of pure malice. You have a long straightaway, the car in front of you brakes to take the next corner, you have them in your sights, and you send them right into the shadow realm from whence they will never recover. To stop players from doing this, the developers at Polyphony Digital implemented a penalty system in all driving missions. If you make hard enough contact with another racer or a barrier with the front of your car, you will receive a 5-second penalty. During this time, your car will only have a maximum speed of 50 km per hour or 31 miles per hour. If you are traveling faster than this, you'll be unable to engage the throttle and will coast until the penalty wears off. This system is definitely not perfect, as you can still make hard contact with the side or back of your car and avoid the penalty. And while it may prevent you from ramming head on into the 5th to 2nd placed cars, it didn't stop me on mission 14. This Plymouth Superbird handles like a boat, and I really didn't feel like starting the mission over. I lined myself up and rammed that Buick into next week. Knowing the 5-second penalty wasn't going to be punishment enough, I managed to score the win. As I've gotten older, I have steered away from using dirty tactics to win races. Unlike all the other missions where I was able to score a pretty clean win, even after upwards of 30 hours of practice using save states, I wasn't even close to getting a win at the Nordschleife. At the time, Mission 34 was recognised as the most difficult challenge in the Gran Turismo series, until it was eclipsed by the Sebastian Vettel X Challenge in Gran Turismo 5. If you would like to see my cleanest successful attempts of missions 25 to 33, the link to the playlist will be at the top in the description. However, if you just want to see my best run of mission 34, stay tuned. I can't say I've beaten this challenge cleanly, but this is probably as close as I'll ever get. Thanks for watching. Oh my god, I can finally start making the video.